Hello friends and fellow gamers, MKxJUMP here, and in 2 weeks we have the Idle Heroes anniversary event. So a lot of you are probably approaching the next couple of weeks wondering what you should be saving and what resources you should not be spending in these weeks to come. So we'll be looking at this week's event, which is a card Clash of Illusion event, under the assumption that you will want to be saving things for the next couple weeks, because anniversary is going to be huge. I hope the Dragon Boat Festival we just had got you some nice rewards, and if you've got some contract story gems left over, maybe saving them is the best idea. So folks, let's go ahead and check out this week's event for Idle Heroes. Before we check out this week's event for Idle Heroes and how you can get free rewards, let me tell you about this week's sponsor, Marvel Strikeforce. They are giving away so many heroes and villains for you to enjoy in this action-packed, squad-based RPG. Think you know your Marvel heroes? Well, in this free-to-play mobile game, you can bring all your favorite heroes and villains to life, battling some iconic enemies and many you have never seen before. Check out the link in the description or scan the QR code to download the game now and start playing today. Once you're in, assemble a team using your strongest or most beloved Marvel characters and see how far you can get and which new heroes you can unlock. Some exciting ways you can enjoy the Marvel Universe is the main campaign, where you can progress further through the story and new players can unlock up to 17 total characters, including iconic heroes such as Spider-Man, Thor, and Captain America. Test your squad strength in Blitz, or perhaps for those of you wanting to challenge other players, you can enjoy both the Alliance War for weekly challenges and the Cosmic Crucible, where you go head-to-head against other players to see who comes up on top. For those of you skilled enough, you can even unlock the new legendary hero Quasar for free by completing the Harbinger event. Don't miss this amazing opportunity, as Quasar is the first legendary hero needed to complete the Age of Annihilus. To boost your progress even further, and to celebrate Marvel Studios' Thunderbolts, our friends at Marvel Strikeforce are also giving away 5 powerful heroes for a limited time. Use the promo code BOOKIE to unlock Red Guardian, Yelena Belova, Ghost, Winter Soldier, and Taskmaster. Don't miss this chance to elevate your squad to the next level with these free heroes, as this promotion is only available for a short period. So what are you waiting for, gamers? Make sure to use the link in the description or scan the QR code, and don't forget to use the code BOOKIE, that's BUCKY, to get those free heroes and start your Marvel Strikeforce journey. And of course, a huge thank you goes to Marvel Strikeforce for sponsoring today's video. Thank you, Marvel Strikeforce. Each day for logging in, you will want to get yourself 7 of these enchanted cards. Make sure you log in every single day, as you will need all of these enchanted cards to maximize your rewards in the card Clash of Illusion. And by getting the most cards you can for free, you minimize the amount of other resources like gems and contract story gems that you would have to use to otherwise increase your card total. So claiming these and logging in every day is super duper important. If we take a look at the cool events, you can see at the top of this week's event is a Soul Awakening session. This is where all Idle Heroes players come together and awaken heroes to try and see who can get the top of the leaderboard. You can see loads of people are already spending a ton of money on awakens and trying to push this out. I strongly recommend you do not try to do this, as you are competing against some of the biggest spenders and people who even get contract story gems for a living. They buy and sell story gems, and that's how they make their way through life. So you've got to compete against those guys, those high-end players, so I would recommend not trying to chase the S, SS, and triple S tier heroes. This is mainly just bait for big spenders that are trying to get X tier heroes, where they'll need S's and A's to upgrade to that level, and a triple S, of course, to upgrade to X tier. So it is a very messy event that is designed to bait people into spending as much as they can, when otherwise you could just pick up hero copies on the auction house. Now, if we scroll down, you'll also see that we have a B stone that is bound, given as a reward for anyone that partakes in this event, but you do need to reach 200 points in the Soul Awakening Gala. The Gala is basically attached to this, the Awakening Privileges, where you're going to get points for doing Awakens, just like a normal Awaken event. You get your usual chests up to 70, and for 100, you'll be getting yourself a Mysterious Artifact Selection chest. Potentially good if you're sitting on a huge pile of free summons like I am here. You know, you could use these free summons to some good effect. But also, I expect for Anniversary there to be another Transcendence hero that comes out, so there is likely to be an opportunity to get an artifact chest that only requires 60 points, but it does have to specifically be whatever new hero they release at Anniversary. So if you're sitting on a large pile of scrolls, and bear in mind we're likely to get 900 additional scrolls for free, we're in a position where we're probably going to get a lot of copies of whatever new hero is released at Anniversary, and I think you're best actually spending your Awakens then if you're short on free Awakens. If, however, you're doing a great job at farming in the Trial of the Champions and getting tons and tons and tons of free Awakens just by getting high in the leaderboard here, because you can see for the people that get a good position, they actually get tons and tons of free Awakens every single week. So if you're getting into the top 100, maybe even just top 500, whatever it is, you get these Radiant Soul Crystals. So that's useful for you players. So if you're one of those players with lots and lots of Awakens, you might actually want to consider doing this, but otherwise I would just save for Anniversary. People that do want to go heavy and hard in this, they can get some decent rewards like Origin Materials at 150 and 300, and even at 600 there is Destiny stuff, but I think that is super duper excessive, because I want you to bear in mind it does require about 3,500 Contract Story Gems to get to 300 points. That's assuming you destroy every single hero copy that you awaken. So if you're approaching it with that level of aggression with Contract Story Gems, you may run the risk of not having enough Contract Story Gems for bigger events. Just look at last week's event, the Dragon Boat Festival. That required up to 7,500 Contract Story Gems to get the top rewards. Anniversary is very, very likely to be the same thing. Yes, the last two anniversaries weren't very good, but that was before they added things like the Glorious Treasury. Events are completely different now, and I'm expecting Anniversary to be a brilliant way to exchange Contract Story Gems for top rewards. So I wouldn't be surprised if saving them was your best option. So perhaps refrain from doing Awakens here if it's going to cost you Contract Stories, because personally, I think that's not the best idea. On the topic of Contract Story Gems, you are going to get yourself 600 for free, assuming that you've got to Realms Gate level 75. So if you haven't been smashing the Realms Gate, if you haven't been making progress here in the Gate of the Void, then you will absolutely want to get that Void Corruption up and go ahead and push your progress here. Because higher the Void Corruption you have, the more Contract Story Gems you're going to get for free, not just this week, but in future Card Clash Evolution events as well. So go ahead and claim all 600 Contract Story Gems if you can. Now, one thing that you might be tempted to do with those Contract Story Gems is spend them here in the Card Clash Evolution, because you can actually spend all 600 if you wanted to get yourself all of the enchanted cards here. I don't think that's a wise idea. Some people may want to do that to try and push for Stage 7, but first of all, you do not need to buy all of the cards with Contract Story Gems. Just wait until the end of the week. That is the first thing I want to stress for you guys if you're doing this event. Because, remember, you're getting 7 for free every day. That's 49 enchanted cards without having to spend anything. Also, if you look at your gems, you're getting an additional 60 for free here. That is loads in total. That's 109 enchanted cards. That is going to get you at least to Stage 5, maybe even Stage 6. And even if you're going to spend these with gems, I would wait until the end as well, because a lot of people do not even need to spend all 6,000 gems to get to Stage 5. So if you're a free-to-play player, Stage 5 is absolutely what I would aim for. Just use your gems, get to this point, because you will get those 5 Glorious Treasury coins, which you could use here and exchange for something like Stellar Shards, or maybe you even need Starspawn eggs, which you can grab from here. But typically, Stellar Shards are the best option for the majority of people. Just remember, you want 3 times as many Stellar Shards as you have Crystals of Transcendence, so that when you get Transcendence heroes, you can upgrade them to a suitable level. For those of you wanting to spend some Contract Story Gems, pushing to Stage 7 is not a bad idea, as that takes you to 10 Glorious Coins, which can then be used to get yourself an artifact. That on its own is fine. However, given the fact that Anniversary is coming up, and we have seen in the past with events like the Dragon Boat Festival and Easter, I actually think saving your Contract Story Gems is the better move, because you're probably going to get far superior rewards from Anniversary than just a humble artifact here in Card Clash. Card Clash happens every month. This is a standard event. You can do this a different time. But for now, I think saving your Contract Stories is the best move, as every little Contract Story you have could make the difference between getting the best rewards and mediocre rewards. So just be careful. Another way you might want to consider spending contract story gems this week is in the value packs, because you can get yourself these packages here that contain gems and enchanted cards. But like always with Card Clash, it doesn't seem the treasure train tickets are available for purchase here. That makes me less inclined to spend contract story gems on value packs. Moreover, spending them here, like I've said again and again, is probably not the best idea with Anniversary coming close. So all in all, even though you could probably push quite far in the Card Clash Evolution if you use contract story gems, I just think the value isn't worth it, and I think Stage 5 is best for most people. However, spenders can get something really good this week, and so can free-to-play players technically from the Starlight Melody. You're going to get points for using enchanted cards and awakening heroes, and considering that we're getting 100 enchanted cards for free just by using gems and logging in, it's very easy we're going to get 300 points here. That's going to get you access to Stellar Shards and Spiritual Essence, two very, very useful resources, and you get lots of the 100 chests and a 200 chest as well. These also contain copies of Transcendence Heroes, so if you're trying to build them, that could be really useful for you guys as well. Now, if you go ahead and want to make huge progress this week, you can actually go all the way up to 1,500 points here, which is going to get you 10 Glorious Treasury coins, which can help you push further in the Glorious Treasury. That is a good idea if you want to take advantage of this, the Moonlight Gift, where you can spend as much as $300 getting ×6 rewards. On face value, that sounds like insane spending, but when you realize what you get, that can be tempting for some later game players. If you look here, the opportunity to pick up to 100 additional enchanted cards makes making progress in the Card Clash Evolution even easier. There's an artifact chest thrown in. You're also getting access to soul symbols and relics. And on top of that, there's also stellar shards thrown in as well. We've got Prism Story gems and a Deific Origin artifact chest, along with 6 times rewards for the Starlight Melody, which means if you get to 1,500 points, which you should be able to do just off enchanted cards alone if you follow my advice I'll give you later, you're able to get yourself 3 more of these chests, which is 3 additional Deific Origin artifacts. This is the best event for getting a lot of Origin artifacts at once, as just spending there is going to get you instantly 4 of them. On top of that, you're getting orange treasure chests and pink chests, which will improve your treasure train, and even the 6,000 area is here, which is going to get you access to festival treasures from this year. A nice little bonus thrown in. Also, by getting the ×6 modifier, you're going to actually get a total of 60 Glorious Treasury coins for spending $300, and considering that $300 is going to get us a bunch of enchanted cards, it's very easy that you can expect to get yourself to stage 20 here in the Card Clash Evolution. In fact, that is going to be your main goal. The easiest way to do that is to start off by getting yourself a value package here, spending $100 on this top pack. That's going to get you 40 additional enchanted cards. Then I would buy a Flora's Picnic chest, this additional package here for $100. That's going to get you Prism Story gems, treasure coupons, Cause of Transcendence, and a box that gives you even more contract story gems. From there, I would make sure that you go ahead and spend Starry Gems on these packages, and that will give you more and more enchanted cards, and you can use those enchanted cards to maximize your progress in the Card Clash of Illusion. You may find you need a few more enchanted cards to get to stage 20, and that's where you'll go back to the value packages and purchase whatever else you need. Another option is to buy 2 top $100 packs to get you to $300, and instead that'll save you needing to spend as many contract story gems here. So that will give you a less of a spend on contract story gems, saving them for Anniversary. I actually think that is probably the best option for most spenders, buying 2 of these top packages and then getting yourself 1 of the Flora's Picnics. That's $300 easily spent, and that's going to get you enough enchanted tickets, which will immediately get you all of the Starlight Melody rewards, because it will give you 500 enchanted cards, taking you to 1,500 points. That means you won't need to do Awakens, so you can also save contract story gems there. That, in my opinion, is the best way to go ahead and spend this week, because with all of that stuff, you're going to enter into the Glorious Treasury with a total of 140. That, in my opinion, is one of the best ways you can approach this week, and probably the only way I would if I was a spender, because it gets you 140 Glorious Treasury coins. You can use that to make progress in Treasury 1, Treasury 2 if you need artifacts, Treasury 3 is going to be great for Origin materials if you need that to improve your heroes to Destiny or just make your heroes stronger. Then Treasury 4 and 5 are really good because they're offering Deific artifacts and Destiny if you need it. Deific artifacts are especially easy to pick up here, as you can start picking them up by having spent as few as 40 coins. That means you're not only getting 4 deific artifacts for spending $300, you can potentially get another 6 here if you skip Destiny materials. That's really good for people who are chasing Will of Winters, which is the enhanced version of deific Snowheart. That is a very good deific artifact. However, it is best when you have multiple of them, because that's one of the few ways we know how to beat some really late game stuff, because we can steal energy and speed from opponents, and of course outspeeding enemies is very, very useful. However, getting yourself enough exotic grimoires and enough Snowheart copies is extremely expensive to have 4 or 5 Will of Winters. That is 20 grimoires and 20 Snowhearts you'll need to get 5 Will of Winters. That is bonkers. So you can see why some spenders would want to spend here to try and make that a little bit easier for themselves. However, once you get to Treasury 6 and you've spent 100 Glorious Treasury coins, you'll be left with 40 coins. I think your best option then is to pick up Star Souls, because if you're a big spender spending $300, Nirvana is going to be something in reach for you. If you haven't already, aim to get the Spectre Inquiring Mind all the way up to level 21, either by getting this or just getting the fish to help upgrade that. And then after that, I think the next best one to go for is the Plume, then Nova, then you get the Pupil, and then you get Bloom. If you guys can max all of these, you probably will have to spend a ridiculous amount of money, but of course, that's what spenders who spend $300 on Card Clash are no stranger for doing. And you can do this every time Card Clash comes along, so potentially an opportunity to get tons and tons of things to help your progress as you advance. Of course, $300 is a ton of money to spend on a weekly event here in Idle Heroes, so I can completely understand why that might seem a little bit excessive for most people. And honestly, folks, I would agree. But I've got to cover this to make sure that we've covered everyone's opportunities who play this game. Now, if we want to get on the topic of the absolutely ridiculously crazy spenders, there's even this here, where people can get themselves access to Awakened Puppets, which you can use in the Soul Perfection menu. I honestly would advise this is just completely worth ignoring. This is total whale bait to get people to awaken heroes and push the Soul Perfection, which is otherwise a questionable mechanic, and it's just to encourage people to get X tier heroes. This is for the 0.00001% of players that spend ridiculous amounts of money on this game and think that X tiers are worth their while. We're looking at people like Immortal Toad and Rake, who have the means and the willpower to go ahead and get these levels of heroes. For the average player, this is a complete waste of time, and I think A tiers are far better suited for you. Just look at my account here. I'm having a wonderful time, and the highest I have on this account is A tiers, and even this, I think, is excessive. I have way too many A tiers for what is actually required for a good team. I just have them because, well, they look nice, and I got them really cheap. The auction house crashed 2 to 2.5 years ago, and hero copies were really, really cheap. So getting some of these, I got for a ridiculously crazy price. I think I got this Natalie for a fraction of what it's worth now. So yeah, when you stare at my A tiers, I'm definitely not picking them up in today's market. So just be aware of that when you're going into events like this. This is definitely something, especially X tiers, which you shouldn't be aiming towards. That said though, $300 on the event is completely fine if you're a heavy spender, but for the majority of people, as always, my advice for Card Clash Evolution is to get to stage 5, pick up those 5 Glorious Treasury coins, lock in your 600 Contract Starry Gems, and take yourself a little bit further in your progress and get ready for Anniversary, which is going to be a phenomenal event. This is another reason you'll want to be saving Contract Story Gems and Gems, because Anniversary is going to give so many great rewards. Next week is another bumper event between now and then. That's going to give us a Sky Labyrinth event. Is this going to be any good? I don't know. Fiona is available in the Wishing Coins. We'll just have to see if they add anything bonus onto this. They might put Reverie in this. That might be a cool thing they could do. I don't think they've done a Sky Labyrinth Reverie in a while, or at all, to be honest. So that would be quite a cool addition. Or maybe they just won't add anything to this event, and we'll just have to have a quiet event before Anniversary. Either way, hit that subscribe button if you want to know more about next week, or of course more about Anniversary in the weeks to come. And as we said at the start of this video, why not go ahead and check out Marvel Strikeforce, our sponsor for today, as of course checking out their game will help my channel here. So if you want to give me a little bit of a favor, go check them out. Either way, folks, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for tuning in, and as always, have an amazing week and happy idling.